Some people try to win games of Legacy, and that's fine. I, on the other hand, have some other ideas about making my opponent miserable. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video, and today we are going to be playing with Smallpox. So the deck itself is usually just called Pox, but the days where you run OG Pox are long since past. Generally speaking, what we're going to try to do today is blow up as many of our opponent's lands as possible, and we're going to try to ride the fact that we're going to have some artifact mana and more lands than our opponent to victory. If you're newer to Legacy, you are probably used to decks trying to kill the opponent. Cards like Murktide Regent and Uro, as well as initiative creatures, can go and end the game in 2 or 3 combats in many cases. And combo cards like Doomsday can also present a very fast clock. We are instead going to try to break parity on cards. And by that I mean I'm going to play cards that hurt me and my opponent, but I want to make sure that they hurt my opponent more. So for example, when I Wasteland my opponent, I lose a land and they lose a land. But if I bring that land back with Life from the Loam, then I get my resource back and they don't. And Liliana's +1 ability kind of works the same way, where on paper it's symmetrical. But if you are building your deck to include Liliana, in reality, you probably don't care about discarding that card, or you've gone hellbent and it's just your opponent discarding a card. Or you drew 3 cards with a Life from the Loam, so discarding doesn't actually matter at all. Now, the biggest downside of Pox is that it is trying to control resources as its win condition. And that often means that you're not presenting a win until like turn 10. So it is going to be a little bit of an uphill battle to win games, but it's a very fun puzzle to solve, and people love watching this deck and playing it. Now, today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, Eminence Gaming, and Cool Stuff Inc. Remember, if you need some paper magic cards, check out Cool Stuff Inc. and use promo code ThrabenU to save 5% on your order. So this is the deck list in all of its glory. So note here that in total, mana is literally half of the deck between the Mox Diamonds and all of the lands. So when we cast a Smallpox that is in theory symmetrical, our opponent is losing a land that they are less likely to replace than we are. That's kind of the big theory surrounding this deck list. Our primary win condition is just Urza's Saga. And if you look, there's not too much else beside that. So in the bizarro world where an Urza Saga gets surgically extracted, the pickings are slim as far as finishing the game after that. There are other win conditions, but they are very, very slow. I am playing Jonas's list as it was submitted with 2 changes. There was originally a Nihil Spellbomb in the main deck and a Pithing Needle in the sideboard. I've moved the Needle to the sideboard, and I cut the Spellbomb and cut a Toxic Deluge for 2 copies of Mindbreak Trap. Since this list was submitted, Beseech the Mirror decklists and Creative Technique decklists have just kind of been all over the place on Magic Online, and I want to make sure that I am really packing the heat for those matchups, and I wanted something to help bridge me towards Sphere of Resistance, because this isn't an Ancient Tomb deck list, and in order to play a Sphere on turn 1, I have to have Mox Diamond. Yeah, with that being said, let's Pox them out. Alright, I have kept my hand here, and as long as Life from the Loam doesn't eat like a Force of Negation, this hand is pretty good. It's a little hard to tell whether Thoughtseize or Bowmasters, oh, that's great, is going to end up being my better first play. I'm going to go... I'm always going Bayou. I'm always going Mox Diamond. Going to discard Ghost Quarter. I could immediately Smallpox, But I think I just want that spell to resolve. So let's punch a hole. Hoo-hoo! Alright, we know what we're playing against. Mindbreak Trap, good decision. I will take the Force of Will here. What did that Ponder choose? That Ponder chose not to shuffle. Means there's probably a land on top. We'll take Force of Will. I'm going to have to remember that Dress Down is there, though, because that can clear Urza Saga tokens. And it looks like we are playing against High Tide. Our opponent is a known High Tide lover. They've also got some kids, though, so they might need to step away from the computer at a couple of moments. All right, they're back. All right, yep, so that was their land drop, so we know the exact contents of their hand. I'm going to play Wasteland and probably end up just sacrificing it. Keep Urza Saga in hand for next turn. So, let's start trying to destroy some lands, shall we? I think this gets the Dress Down in response. I will discard the Life from the Loam. Probably end up dredging it back. And I will sacrifice the Wasteland. This is a pretty good spot for me. No land drop for my opponent. I don't need to dredge immediately. Fucking dirty. Okay. Yep. 2 mana. Cast Smallpox. I will sacrifice the Urza Saga. My opponent goes down their final land. I now have Life from the Loam for Urza Saga. I wanted that Orcish Bowmasters, but, you know, beggars can't be choosers. All right, Urza Saga, fetch land, Urborg. So we'll go ahead and cast this, play the Urza Saga, and we probably win this game in short order from here. Sure. That's no shuffle. No dredging. Yep. I am just going to go ahead and fetch out a land here, call it a turn. Ooh, opponent has had good hits off the top. That's what they need. I'll make my tokens. My opponent will go ahead and fetch. I will not dredge. Ooh. That's probably better than making another Urza Saga. Or wait, I can do both, right? Like Urza Saga, then get Mox Diamond, discard Urborg, play land, play Lily. Yes, that is the line. Bam. Mox Diamond, do Urborg, play land, go to combat, bash in for 4. Opponent goes to 13. I'll fetch, grab a land, and start whittling away at my opponent's hand. A Mind's Desire goes away. I have my opponent on a 2-turn clock, and I get to pick 1 card out of their hand each turn. That is also not an island for the purposes of things like High Tide. Life from the Loam is worth dredging then, as it can pick up Wasteland here. We'll go Wasteland, Ghost Quarter, Urza Saga. 1, 2. Wasteland. Wasteland Otawara. Go to combat. Hit my opponent for 8. They go to 5. Plus Liliana, taking out another card. Take out the Ghost Quarter. We want Urza's Saga in case they find another Dress Down. They don't have right now. All right. Looking good for old Pox here. So, we want spheres. We want Mindbreak Traps. Surgicals are worth considering to rip certain cards out of my opponent's deck completely. It's not an artifact mana matchup. It's in fact probably not really a permanent matchup. Assassin's Trophy has this fringe benefit of being able to blow up a land to stop my opponent from untapping that specific land, but it just gets replaced with another land. So, you know, we're probably not super interested in that. We're not super interested in Sheoldred's Edict either. It's not like Currency Converter and Retrofitter Foundry are great. Pithing Needle varies a lot depending on whether or not my opponent has Candelabra. I don't know what their build looks like right now. I'm going to cut the Pithing Needle. I can bring it back in for a game 3 if I need it. I'm probably going to cut one more artifact. Which one of these would I rather tutor up on average? Probably Retrofitter Foundry. This is still 4 over. I might not play Surgical. Surgical lives the dream of a free win. Surgical's probably better when I'm on the play. Let's submit this for being on the draw. This hand's a keep. I am going to need my second black mana source. Hopefully that's not a problem. No shuffle. I need that second black mana source. Okay, so we are going to Mox Diamond, discard Boseiju. I think I Sphere. No, I don't want Sphere to get countered. I think I play Wasteland to play around a potential Daze, which I am not expecting. I think I play around it. And I think I punch a hole. Merchant Scroll. Merchant Scroll feels like the card that I am taking here. That lets my opponent tutor or something like Force of Will to keep my Sphere from coming down. All right. Lots of draw go magic happening here. Ooh, that card's real good. I still think I play Sphere first. I'll do this and drop the Sphere, and then I'll play Bowmasters next turn. Ooh, that is cycling. So the cool thing here is it's going to look like I'm holding up an Urza Saga activation, when in reality I'm holding up Orcish Bowmasters. I think I play Bowmasters in this turn cycle. Okay. It's a little awkward. In that, like, if I flash this in response, I don't get to do cool things. All right. So I can cast and do stuff after this resolves. Do I want to make an Urza Saga token? Or do I want to Bowmaster? I think I want Bowmaster in play. Bowmaster plus Sphere just kind of attacks on a couple of different angles, and I think I am down for that. So 1, 2 to make things. Lily costs 4 right now. I think this just becomes mana. Sure. I'm just fetching around Pithing Needle. I think this is a Retrofitter Foundry moment. So we've got black, 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 1. Cast Liliana. I think Liliana plus is discarding Urborg. And I end up casting Smallpox next turn. 1 Mind's Desire down. Ooh. So there is a Dress down, removing the ability of Orcish Bowmasters. So it is possible for my opponent to go off this turn with double High Tide. Okay. Returning Mind's Desire. That's probably just to put it into deck here. Ooh, shit, we're going. So this now untaps those lands. There's a small Mind's Desire. Ponder, Force of Will, Lorien Revealed. I mean, that's very good. So that's a draw 3. Note they still have to pay the tax for Sphere of Resistance here. So I am not expecting to die this turn at this point. Okay, yep. So we're in the clear for this turn. And then I get to Lily Plus and Smallpox my opponent, and Dress Down will be gone next turn, so Orcish Bowmasters will be back online. I also have some other good resources here. So I guess as a starting point, let's each discard a card, and I'll get rid of this Mox. They lost a Brainstorm. Understood. So I'll send in with both of these. Opponent goes to 13. I think casting Smallpox is better than Wastelanding because it also takes another card out of my opponent's hand. So I'll sacrifice an Orc. I will sacrifice a Wasteland. Opponent sacrifices the Wastelandable land, and we'll call it a turn. Note, in the not too distant future, I can do a Liliana minus to junk a bunch of my opponent's lands. Guess I don't know about anything in their hand for sure anymore. Urkel's Recall, sure. Taking the sphere out of play matters. Ooh. This is a little awkward. I'd love to cast this other Bowmaster. I just physically can't. Yep. Opponent goes to 11. I am still going to just plus here. Opponent loses Force of Will. Would love to draw a land next turn. I will also have to make a decision about whether or not I am doing the Liliana ultimate. So end of turn, I'm gonna make a creature. I don't necessarily expect this to do a lot. My opponent will then recall all my artifacts to my hand. Ooh, that's nice insurance. I think I just plus the Lily. It's very, very, very unlikely that I can die from 2 cards. I guess land time spiral is a thing. Yeah, I'm going to try to keep the Lily around. Discard Mox Diamond. All right, a Merchant Scroll is gone. I'll play a Retrofitter Foundry out and send in at my opponent. My opponent's at 10. So if they do just go land time spiral, that is just worth 7 damage to the face. Storm is 1. Storm is 2. Trigger. 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 Opponent's at 7. We got a big orc. Mindbreak Trap is live on the next relevant spell. That's fine. That doesn't do anything. Yeah, like if they pass the turn here, I just nuke their lands and then replay my stuff. All right. Ultimate U. 5 total permanents. So opponent goes to 7. I will go land. I think I want a Bowmaster so my Mindbreak Trap is still alive. Bowmaster, yeah. Target you. Feel very good about adding Mindbreak Trap to this deck. GG's. Eminence Gaming's Command Tower software is a fantastic way to run 4-player EDH or CEDH events, and it's also great for 1v1 tournaments. It has easy event registration, and there's no download required. Everything just runs in browser. The best part is that it's only $5. Visit eminence.events for details. All right, what am I working with here? A keep is the answer. I recognize this username. I think they've donated on the channel previously. Yuri? Green-red initiative? Smells like it. Spirit guy, yeah. So this is a good news, bad news situation. The good news is that I can answer this creature. The bad news is that I'm not great at taking the initiative back. I say as I draw Orcish Bowmasters, which can help me take the initiative back. All right. Mox Diamond. Discard Barrenmoor. The tapped land is not great right now. Play Urborg. Cast Smallpox. Am I discarding Life from the Loam to dredge it back? Probably. So the hope here is that my opponent can't produce a follow-up creature, and that I just kind of get to farm my opponent for a couple of turns. If I can take the initiative, I can have a much, much faster clock than normal on this game. No immediate dredge. Love that. So we will fetch here. We'll grab, I guess a swamp is fine. And I'll pass the turn with the intention of taking the initiative with Orcish Bowmasters. And then we'll do Life from the Loam nonsense. Now note that my opponent just got a treasure token, so 4-drops are on the table, unfortunately. Oof. I can at least contest the initiative, but it is hard for me to deal with Planeswalkers. All right, I'll take that damage. I am going to now Orcish Bowmasters. I'm going to ping Minsc and Boo, and I'm 1 damage short of finishing off Minsc and Boo. It's my hope that I find something to get rid of the hamster naturally, like a removal spell or something would be cool, or a draw another Bowmasters to get rid of this. So I don't think I am supposed to ping this token when it comes into play before it gets the counters. All right, natural draw. Life from the Loam. I could take a redraw with Baronmore and try to hit Orcish Bowmasters again. Let's do that. Cancel. Lily. Not what I'm looking for. So, play Saga. Life from the Loam. Target a Baronmore in Urborg. Verdant Catacombs. Go 1-2 here. I don't get rid of Minskin Boo. How do I want to do this? I think send that at Minskin Boo. Send this at my opponent. And at least attempt at contesting the initiative. Get a second black here so that I can still Lily. But yeah, Planeswalkers are a soft spot for a Pox deck list, just generally speaking. It's going to be tough. The opponent is just going to try and kill me next turn. The skeleton is a problem. I'm still looking for Orcish Bowmasters. Now for different reasons. Oh, fuck. That's so bad. Okay. That's not what I need. So the plan needed to be draw Orcish Bowmasters, kill the skeleton. I guess I'm 1 mana short of Edict Lily. I can't get to stash this turn. Yeah, that'll do. Yeah. Notably, if I go after the Boo token on that first turn, my opponent just gets one again the next turn, and I don't think I end up in a better spot than trying to swing for the lines where I actually permanently answer this. So, Assassin's Trophy helps a lot. That was an out to Boo. That's another thing I could have been playing towards. Sheoldred's Edict is great. That's another out. I don't think I'm interested in most of the rest of this stuff. My discard spells are pretty medium. This game needs to be about playing to the board. That probably means getting rid of some hymns for these pieces of interaction. Abrupt Decay is a little rough in that it's not going to answer some of the 4-drop creatures that my opponent plays. Maybe that's enough to not play the second copy. I could also try Sphere of Resistance, but that seems like a losing battle long term, because my opponent's deck is essentially lands and bombs. All right, so with a black source, this hand is pretty respectable. Without that, I think it just has to be an auto mulligan. This hand's slow. After mulliganing once, it's probably a keep. I probably keep this, getting rid of the second copy of Life from the Loam. So I am going to cycle right now in case I decide that I want to do something like play a Mox. Yeah, so for like Pox decks and ensnaring bridge decks that are looking to drag the game on, the initiative thing is like one of the worst things that was ever printed. It's so good against these sorts of slow strategies. I don't think I am casting Life from the Loam this turn. Although that draw might change my mind. I kind of just want to put an Orcish Bowmasters into play though, because I have an Edict to take out a creature, and then I can take the initiative. So I think I'm going to go for Bowmasters first, and then follow it up with an Edict or a Smallpox as I feel is appropriate. And I mostly just hope that a 4-mana card doesn't come down this turn. That one's okay. I can take that one off the board. All right, so there's my opponent's mountain. Then we drop Bowboy, ping my opponent, and then we'll Edict. I think it's Edict over Smallpox. Well, actually, if I Smallpox, I can just sacrifice Bayou and get Forest off the initiative trigger. JK, I think it's Smallpox. I will discard Thoughtseize here. Sacrifice my Orc. Sacrifice my Bayou. Swing in with Bowmasters. Bring my opponent to 15. Get my second color back for Life from the Loam. And drop my Forest as land for the turn. That was really strong. I can now set up for like Wasteland on Ancient Tomb. Ooh, I am pretty happy with that being the threat that they drew, because Bowmasters is really good against that card. So I will go to I'm going to Forge here. I'm going to try to end this game. Ooh. I probably just Edict this away. If they don't kill it with this. Depends on how good their hand is. I probably just hold up Sheoldred's Edict. Alright. Send in with Bowmasters. Opponent's at 10. Call it a turn. So we'll see what they think of this. Not using it. So you should sacrifice a creature token so that this doesn't get to attack and bridge you to 4 mana. Ooh, alright. Creature can come down here and take the initiative back. Notably, though, this can't be... Oof. Yeah. This can't be Minsk and Boo because this doesn't produce true green mana. That's a hell of a fucking turn, though. And then Fable is coming up to copy this. I'm in a bad spot. I'm in a very bad spot, and Grist doesn't get me out of it. I will cast it. It is a distraction that my opponent has to respect. Oh man, losing that Assassin's Trophy off the top is so rough. All right. I need a lucky draw next turn. My opponent revealed another Caves of Chaos Adventurer. Fuck. All right. So my opponent gets to play a new Caves of Chaos Adventurer, and next turn I'm going to get attacked for 15. Or no, sorry, there's also a Catacombs happening. Next turn, I am getting attacked for 19, which is ever so conveniently my life total. Play Life from Loam, cycle Barrenmore, have 1 mana. 1 mana doesn't get me anywhere. These things trample. I mean, I guess I can technically go to 1, but then I don't have a kill, so we can throw that one. GG's. All right, I've kept a reasonable hand here. I am a little worried that my opponent has mulligan to 5. I am less worried about that now. So my big question here is, do I just want to wasteland my opponent's wasteland, or do I want to attempt to use that to go after a colored source? I think I just don't want my opponent to get to 2 mana. And I can find a... fuck. God damn it. Alright. So just for reference, there are 2 mouse buttons next to each other on my my mouse that are keyed to various hotkeys, and I just hit the wrong one. And I 100% just lost this game because of it. So, to not die to Kaldra, I need to attack this land, try to stop it from coming in, and then I can eventually Sheoldred's Edict the token away. Daggers. Yeah, none of this happens if I don't misclick there. That's frustrating. Now, I will just play a regular old land. I probably fetch now to play around random crap like Aven Mind Sensor. Although this plays into Rishadan Port. But I'm not expecting my opponent to be 60 card black-white Death and Taxes. I'm expecting this to be some like Dead Guy Ale offshoot. See if I'm right. Don't love that. That means that something like a Batterskull might be coming down. Not attacking my opponents here. I'm going to let a Wasteland get wastelanded. So a Batterskull still creates a Germ trigger. Fuck. All right. Sacrifice a creature token. I can get rid of this one. Yeah, that was... This was a very easy game to win. And I punted it. So I can do some Bowmaster blocks to attempt to buy some time. But I probably don't want to show my opponent more cards if I think I've lost. Like, I can play Bowmaster block this, take 2-ish damage, go to 2, play Grist, sack a thing, kill a Batterskull token, be dead to these, yeah. Alright. That is frustrating. We're going to move on. So I would like additional removal here. I'm not sure that I want to mess around with this. It will be fine, but it won't be good. And I don't know my opponent's creature suite well enough to evaluate how good these are going to be. Let's assume that random discard is not at its finest and run like this. I will be missing the Toxic Deluge that I took out of the sideboard in this specific matchup. Keep. Not super excited about this, but I just immediately get a Baron Moor redraw. I think it's slightly better than it looks. This is a removal spell come late game. That is a Thoughtseize. I've lost the Smallpox, which is unsurprising. So then I'll just go ahead and cycle this Baron Moor. Lily's a good pickup. Wasteland's not bad either. Let's hold up Assassin's Trophy. Because if my opponent plays a creature, I want to dome that creature and then play Lily. Alright, they did not. In which case, let's fetch a basic forest and cycle this other Baron Moor. Sure. That's annoying. My Lily was already going to be bad versus Bowmasters, though. Well, we know how this goes. Blow that up. I'm going to play around, like, Undying Evil effects by just killing this now. That might sound like a crazy thing to say, but when I think about why you would want to be playing a Dead Guy Ale type deck, I think about the Grief package. Oh, it's Red Guy Ale. Unexpected. So when I played this, the splash was for Hidetsugu Consumes All. That's pretty good. So that names Orc and kills both of my things. I go to 15. 6 cards in my graveyard, notably. Cabal Pit will be on next turn. I probably just end up Assassin's Trophying a Plague Engineer and then using Lily next turn to clear out the other creature. I believe that I'll take 2 points of damage to have the flexibility to kill different creatures that are played out post-combat. It would be more important to target, say, a Stoneforge Mystic if one of those were to be played. Damn, getting Lion Sash is super annoying because I care about my graveyard count for Cabal Pit. Alright, so I have to take this damage. I can't give my opponent the basic land right now, or they can just play Lion Sash. Alright. Done. So I'll play a land. I'll drop Lily. Unfortunately, this Lily is just taking out a Stoneforge, probably. And soaking up 2 points of damage. My opponent keeps the Stoneforge. God damn it. It means that the last remaining card in their hand is either a Kaldra or Batterskull. Kaldra is much worse for me. That haste damage is so good. Oh, God. Yeah, we aren't beating that. Well, that explains why my opponent wanted the red. Yeah, and I don't have Toxic Deluge as an out to this. And even if I did have Toxic Deluge as an out and I drew it, I still probably don't beat the Monarch here. All right, I punted game 1 with a misclick, but this game I was thoroughly bested. GG's. Ooh. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, and I personally keep all of my deck lists for every format on this site. I love that I can go and sort them by types and tags if I need to. There's a lot of different viewing options. It can give you some math about your mana symbol, your curve, and you can even playtest and do sample opening hands with it. Check this site out if you haven't before. It's awesome. All right, I've kept my hand here. However, let me say that if I don't draw extra lands, this hand is not good. I am counting on my deck to produce an extra land of some kind, and I am going to fetch a basic land here rather than open myself up to Wasteland as well. What the fuck is this? Exile the top... Opponent just said, behold! Okay, look at the top 8 cards of your library. You may put a land from among them onto the battlefield. Until end of turn, for each non-land card type, you may cast a spell of that type from among the exiled cards without paying its mana cost? Alright. we're going to start with a Shardless Agent leaving here. My opponent's deck is spicy. My opponent says, hopefully I make you read some more. So I think my opponent's deck is like a Tybalt's Trickery deck. Kind of feels like that's what's happening. Gonna be like Tybalt's Trickery into Creative Technique. So this is the Violent Outburst, which cascades, into Tybalt's Trickery, countering Violent Outburst. What just happened? So they hit Emergent Ultimatum and Geothermal Crevice. So they hit the ultimatum. I'm not sure quite what happened. Like why that wasn't cast. Alright, I did hit another land, which is nice. Oh, I bet I know what happened. Oh, okay, there's nothing in the reveal, so they must have like hit another Tybalt's Trickery or something that they couldn't cast. This is what was milled. Sorry, I misread chat. Alright, this comes into play. I attack for 2. And then I kind of decide how saucy I want to get. Opponent's probably not playing basics. But I am going to hope that I can just make some Urza Saga tokens and speed up this game a bit, and then Ghost Quarter next turn for similar results. I'm expecting my opponent to need at least 3 mana. This feels either safe or safe adjacent to do. I drew Life from the Loam. Is a little awkward. So I think we're thinking with portals. So, float a mana. We are going to Ghost Quarter our own Urza Saga. I will use this ability to pick up a forest. I will now search for an artifact. I'll grab, like, Retrofitter Foundry. No, I'll grab Currency Converter. I will cast Life from the Loam, targeting the 3 lands that are in my graveyard. I will then play this, fetch, pick up a, I guess it can be a Bayou, go to combat, crash in for some damage, and then Smallpox my opponent. Discard the Pithing Needle. I don't think that's going to do a lot. Sacrifice an Orc. Sacrifice the Bayou. And we will use this ability. Put Pithing Needle under Currency Converter to make a 2/2. Alright. My opponent does have basic lands. That's good to know, because I wouldn't necessarily have expected that. Alright. 5-ish incoming damage. Not interested in a Dredge. There's a Verdant Catacombs. Let's send in for some damage here. Put my opponent to 7. Let's attempt to blow up Tropical Island. Okay, nice. That occurs. My opponent has an island. I will then play Ghost Quarter. I will, let's see, hit Forest with that. And that's good enough for the concession. We got a little lucky here. Mindbreak Traps, doing work. Fear of Resistance being reasonable. Do I want to try to surgically extract my opponent's creative techniques? I feel like no. So I probably don't need to go this route. I probably don't need the Grist. And I probably don't play Assassin's Trophy. Like, I am aware that it just did things, but... Well, Orcish Bowmasters also isn't very good. I don't know, I guess Orcish Bowmasters has power and toughness. I'm just honestly dragging this game on longer than I would like versus this opponent. I want to disrupt and kill. which means probably Urza Saga hands are what I'm looking for. I'm just unsure whether or not I want to use these on like soul lands and just make my opponent's mana generally worse. Like doing something like that is like harder to do with Sphere of Resistance, but has a higher impact if I do have a Sphere in play. So, you know. I think that Assassin's Trophy has a higher impact on average than Bowmasters. But maybe then I need Grist back in as a way to kill my opponent. I don't know, maybe these are better than killing my opponent than Grist if the Edict mode isn't super relevant. This hand is very good as long as it's acceptable for me to keep a hand that interacts on turn 2, and sometimes it's not. I think I can mulligan once or twice and get a hand that interacts on turn 2 still. I'm going to fish for something that interacts on turn 1. This isn't it. Is this hand good enough that I don't care? Play Bayou, play Mox Diamond, discard, and Urza Saga. On turn 2, I play Liliana. Liliana doesn't get the targeted removal that I need. I'm going to go to 5. I'm going to keep this hand and believe. 1 life from the Loam goes back. I think 1 Smallpox goes back. I don't think I can give up the land until I have guaranteed hit that second land drop. I don't have the guaranteed turn 1 interaction that I want. Hopefully that's fine. I'm scared because stuff can come down right now. So here is the Cascade spell. Goes into Tybalt's Trickery. Wow. Don't play the lotto. Yeah. So it's my turn now. I'm going to grab a Bayou. And I think I just start on him to Tourach here. I think just taking 2 of my opponent's cards makes it impossible for them to attempt to go off again next turn. And then I can play a Sphere of Resistance afterwards. Is taking a turn to life from the Loam, so I can always play a follow-up spell fine? Let's say no. I think I'm okay if this game slows down to the point that I miss a couple of land drops. Alright. Never didn't have it. So I can Smallpox this turn. I don't think I have to. I think this turn is going to just be the life from the Loam so that I guaranteed have my land drop for after Smallpox, or I can just play Lily. Yeah, so my opponent in chat here says that there are only 4 bad hits in the deck. Gross. All right. Fetch. I'll grab a Forest. Lily seems fine. Yeah, because Spirit Guides aren't here. And the Soul Lands enter tapped. Yeah, this is fine. So we'll do this. Plus this. I can discard my redundant Lily. And then we have like Smallpox. And we have like Smallpox plus Lily to take 2 cards from my opponent. I will dredge this turn. I don't have to. Still like draw something that would make me change my mind. I will just discard that to Lily. Or no, I guess I'm only casting 1 Smallpox. Yeah, so I do this. And then I do this so that when I cast the Smallpox, I don't discard that card. Wild. So now we will kind of like life from the Loam until I find Urza's Saga. All right, Wasteland, Boseiju, Verdant Catacombs, 1, 2, 3. Do that. Drop Wasteland plus Lily. Junk Verdant. Pass the turn. I do have this available. I could force my opponent to fetch. Don't think that's a thing that I have to do right now, though. Dredge life from the Loam. Urborg, Verdant, Pit. Click on Pit. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Do that. I'll drop a Verdant. I'll fetch a land out of the deck here. Just get the other basic, just in case my opponent does something wonky with a Blood Moon. Cool plus. Junkerborg. There goes a Tybalt's Trickery. And this is going to take a while, but I don't really know how my opponent gets out. Yeah, we'll keep dredging till we find Urza Saga. Okay, we found Urza Saga. Saga, Verdant. Okay, my opponent has conceded. Fair. GG's. Now, it's crazy to say, but this is already the final round. I don't have green mana. Without green mana, this hand isn't actually functional since all three of my spells here are green. I am on the draw between between two draw steps and Barrenmore. I could probably find either green mana or something else to do with the hand. But the London Mulligan's really good. This is a keep. It makes me nervous that my opponent has mulligan to 5 cards and I don't have discard. I don't think I'm going to psych myself out, though, and mulligan further. Let's get rid of Cabal Pit. And if my opponent is a combo deck, we're hoping it's one that Orcish Bowmasters is good against. That is not really what I wanted to see here. That doesn't die to Bowmasters. 2 toughness, confirmed OP. I think the way that I want to do this is just kill that now. My opponent has mulliganed pretty deep. I think I just want to take advantage of that fact. This is unfortunately going to ramp them out, and that means that something like a Knight of the Reliquary can just come down next turn, but I don't think I want them to tutor. And we still have this that can deal with a non-basic land if we need to. Prismatic Ending on the Mox, that's fine. 1 toughness creature? Well, that's not that bad for me. So I've got a couple of different ways that I can address that. I can play Bowmasters and make them pay for those cards, but I don't actually think that's correct. I think my line here is just fully to blow up that enchantment and not give them the option to draw additional cards. They're down to 1 already. Ooh, they've got red. That means Minsk and Boo in all likelihood. All right. Fuck, no. Okay, it's not Minsk and Boo. Knight of the Reliquary is still bad. Please don't misunderstand. I am going to get this, like, Wasteland. Wasteland's gonna fuck me up, basically, is what I'm getting at. Unless my opponent just turns Knight of the Reliquary sideways. Which they very well could, but I don't think it would be correct. Oh. Thought Dryad Arbor was going to go down. Sure. So, I will respond. This unfortunately does grow Knight. So, that's almost good. Awkward that this opens up one of my mana sources to Prismatic Ending. Probably don't have to play this right now. Not like I'm activating these. I think I'm going to attack to incentivize my opponent to attack me back with Knight of the Reliquary. I don't want to get wastelanded. Alright, Knight's activating. Opponent has already floated mana. Okay. They just find Minsk and Boo. It's another Green Sun. That's another huge... Oh, it's Ramunap Excavator. That gets Wasteland. That's very good. I think we're donezo, folks. Well... With another land, I can get Life from the Loam back, but there's just a 9/9 in play. I guess let's pretend to play Magic for a couple turns. I think this game's over. Alright, we will chump block the Knight. Giving 9 life is great. Dryad Arbor from Graveyard. I guess I can Pithing Needle Wasteland. And I suppose I will. Discard Saga. Play Needle. The issue is that if my opponent has, like, Ghost Quarter as well for Knight of the Reliquary, then this play doesn't actually accomplish anything meaningful. Okay. Looking good. I'll absolutely just chump block for 8 life here. I need to buy time Urza Saga, in theory, can do a lot, but every single turn is precious here. I'm not sure that I have outs after missing that draw. Oh, there's also an endurance. Fuck me. Okay. This feels like a nightmare matchup. So these are coming in. This is coming in. I don't know about these. The answer is probably not. Bowmasters is not great here. Opponent has Sylvan Library. Like, this could be my 4, and I can keep him. Him doesn't play to the board, and this is a matchup about the board. I don't know, maybe the chump blocks off of Bowmasters matter a lot for large bodies like Knight. It's just the time that I need to activate Planeswalkers. I will buy that. Okay. I can Cabal Pit and Thoughtseize something. I have multiple Wastelands, which is cool. I have no green for Life from the Loam. I do not have black for Lily. I'm not going to keep that. What about this one? This is just land pass. Well, man, Mox Diamond's awkward here. This hand's a keep. I think I'm actually going to get rid of the Smallpox, because I think the way that I'm going to play this game is just like land, Mox Diamond, discard Barrenmoor, pass, have Sheoldred's Edict available to clear out the first creature that my opponent plays on turn 1, and then follow up with turn 2 Lily, should that be necessary. Opponent did not start with a creature, though, so I can just play naked turn 2 Lily, and that's fine. Oh, that's a very reasonable draw. I'm happy with that. Okay. Oh, opponent was just fetching in response. That's fine. Let's just go Bayous. I'm already going to be wastelandable. So Bayou, play Lily. We're going to Lily plus and discard Life from the Loam, hoping that my opponent does not have Endurance, which would be awkward for me. Dodged thus far. All right. Claimer's fine. So I'm going to play this by dredging Life from the Loam. Life from the Loam, targeting 3 cards in my graveyard. Hope that my opponent does not have Endurance. They do not. At which point, let's grab a basic forest. Sacrifice a non-token creature. Nice. And now we will go ahead and Liliana plus. We'll get rid of our basic swamp here. Lily's got a decent amount of onboard loyalty. I've got my land drops secured. We're going to want to find an Urza Saga to start winning the game, or alternatively a Wasteland to stop nonsense. Sure. That's a bit of an annoying creature, in that when I edict it, my opponent can take a Mox on the way out. That's all right. Hey, there's Urza Saga. We will still just make my opponent sacrifice the creature. It's fine. Oh. Fully was not expecting that. Let's cycle. Okay. All right. So I will Life from the Loam. Let's go Saga, Barrenmoor. Like so. We will cycle Barrenmoor. We'll just take a card draw here. Finding Verdant. Would my opponent make a sorcery speed Merit Lodge? I probably wouldn't if I were them. Well, maybe. I want to produce bodies, though. I'm going to take the offensive option rather than the defensive option. Okay, great. Sure. Crowd's annoying. The extra body is also a bit annoying here. So Lily eats 2, and then we'll probably be protected from here. Not interested in dredging Life from the Loam anymore, I don't think. Like to find like some removal. That's some removal. So I will drop a Ghost Quarter with this timing. Then we can each discard a card. I'll discard the Verdant. I think I messed up. Yeah, I very potentially messed up here. Because by not dredging, if I hit a land, I allow this to flip, and then that happens on attack, which is pretty bad for me. I can potentially get myself out of it. All right, so Lily is being attacked. So I will make an Urza Saga token here. I lose this. I think the Lily Edict is more valuable than the Construct token. All right. I also kind of think my opponent was supposed to Thespian stage my Urza Saga. Or at least attempt to. I'd like to find a removal spell. Could Life from the Loam and Baron more. That eats up 3 of my mana. Technically gives me more cards. But if I eat 3 mana, it becomes harder for me to make some plays. Specifically involving one of my top cards being like a Baron more. And then drawing a 3-drop. Yeah. Ooh. Okay. This does stuff. Probably sacrifice the basic here, which means floating a mana right now. I could sacrifice. Maybe I Cabal Pit this now. Yeah. So let's force this out. It's Cabal Pit. Target this. Force my opponent to sacrifice a land to give that Shroud. Okay. That's fine. Then, after I've forced that, I will Liliana Edict, target you, and then Smallpox. Yeah. So I will junk a Bayou. I'll pass turn, and then in my opponent's upkeep, I'm going to take out Thespian Stage. I just don't want them to play a Minsk and Boo off the top. Actually, that doesn't stop that, does it? Isn't Wasteland. All right. I could potentially attack Plateau to accomplish that. Sure. So I will dredge Life from the Loam. Let's go Urza Saga, Bayou, Ball Pit, and then get Urza Saga going. And then from here, I probably take actual draws rather than dredging because I have mana tied up in Urza Saga. Wasteland is great extra protection. Perfectly happy with that. Oof. So end of turn. Make a token. Endurance. Force of Vigor. Understood. That slows me down. I don't think it's the end of the world. Can now go to my turn. I will dredge Life from the Loam. And this turn, we're going to go after opponent's mana. So we are going to Wasteland a Thespian Stage. A Life from the Loam. Let's go Wasteland, Saga, Baron more. Should be fine tapping this one here. Like so. I will immediately cycle Baron more. Take an actual draw. Grist is reasonable. Let's take Wasteland. Take out Plateau for access to red mana. And pass the turn. We have Cabal Pit for smaller creatures. I'm not great at answering something like a Knight of the Reliquary yet. Not the biggest fan of this hitting play. It's a 2-3, which is annoying. We'll be taking an actual draw for our turn. All right, so Mox Diamond, discard Urza Saga. You have a Wasteland over there? No, regular lands. If I discard Urza Saga, I play Grist plus while holding up Cabal Pit. And I want to hold up Cabal Pit. A little awkward dropping Ghost Quarter if my opponent's exact top deck is Dark Depths. I think I am willing to risk that. I guess I can discard Bayou and keep Urza Saga in hand, and that has the same overall effect. All right, Cabal Pit. Black, green, 1. Play Grist. Grist plus. Pass. I have Cabal Pit so that I can block all damage that goes towards Grist if that's a thing that I need to do. Oh no, I don't have to worry about Dark Depths as a potential draw. Because my opponent can't play Dark Depths and then get this. I guess Crop Rotation is similar. So I Cabal Pit this. Grist takes 1. I'm still at 3 and have an Insect. I like that. Rinky Dink. I should have blocked with Insect Token first before activating that. All right, Ramunap's gone. Grist takes 1. And now a played out Knight of the Reliquary or whatever is much less scary. Let's dredge Life from the Loam. Life from the Loam targets Cabal Pit, Wasteland, Wasteland. Paying 1 and 2. I'll play Wasteland. Can I just play Urza Saga? I don't need a Grist minus anymore. Yeah, let's Grist plus and get Urza Saga going. I think with Ghost Quarter here, I'm safe enough. No attacks though. Force of Vigor on an Urza Saga. That's fine. This is a temporary setback. No, that's not what my opponent wants. I guess some portion of the time I mill out. Need to start watching that. So, Grist plus, get an insect, play Cabal Pit. Cabal Pit the Dryad Arbor. And I think I can start swinging in with insects now. My opponent's Hellbent this time. They're at 15. And now I have Grist with pretty respectable loyalty. Alright. Endurance is very good. That clears my graveyard. And takes away a lot of my resources in the short term. That's not really a long-term problem. I want Assassin's Trophy this. Just keep Grist plussing, probably. Play Wasteland. Assassin's Trophy that. No basic. Grist plus. Send 3 damage in. Opponent's at 12. Mana doesn't feel like the bottleneck right now. I'm just going to hold these as protection. Cool. There's an Abrupt Decay. Probably not going to do a lot. Grist plus. Bash in for 4. Opponent's at 8. I'll play a Wasteland. I will just take out the Dark Depths now. No need to tempt fate. And note that all the cards from Endurance went right back into our deck, so we're doing A-okay. Send in for 5. Opponent goes to 3. I have no creature cards in my graveyard, so we will just Grist plus and make more creatures. And short of a Plague Engineer or something like that, we should just be good here. Let's Abrupt Decay this creature. And we've got lethal on board. Send them. Alright, we do have to go to a game 3, and I've got 6 minutes for that. That was a slog. That was a turn 16 game. So my Mox Diamonds become slightly worse against Force of Vigor. And they're already not amazing, but I don't think I'm boarding them out, because the stuff that's over here I'm not the biggest fan of. When we're going to turn 16, I don't want this card in my deck. I still think I want Thoughtseize to help with turn 1 and turn 2, though. Double Mox Diamond is really awkward here. If my first draw is a land, I get a turn 1 Planeswalker, and if my first draw is anything other than a land, this hand is quite awkward. I guess Life from the Loam is also fine. I'm going to keep. I think keeping a hand like this that has the possibility of spiraling out of control quickly is probably a good idea when I'm behind 10 minutes on clock. Sure. Yeah, Loam is great. So, Mox. Discard a land. Mox. Discard a land. We'll cast Life from the Loam. Opponent seems to have Endurance. This is a long pause. And I am just going to play tapped Barrenmore. I want to guaranteed be able to play a plane. Oh, I see. That's what it was. It was Surgical instead. Sure. I want to guaranteed be able to play a 3-mana Planeswalker next turn, even if I get Wastelanded or if I get Prismatic Endinged off a Mox. We're going to remove this stop on my opponent's upkeep just so I can be a little bit faster in terms of going through their turn cycles. Sure. Collector Oof's a disaster. Oh, it's just Outland Liberator. That's fine. I have 4 mana available to me in this turn cycle. I need to Assassin's Trophy this. I can't play any of these others, unfortunately. Let's go play Ghost Quarter. Assassin's Trophy that. Got 2 Planeswalkers coming, but they don't get to arrive this turn. So glad my opponent didn't have Collector Roof. Shutting off both copies of Mox Diamond would have just been so devastating. Fully not going to Ghost Quarter Dryad Arbor here. Okay. Play land drop. I think I would like to get Grist going this turn. So I will play this and drop Grist, with my goal being to do cute things with Liliana and Currency Converter, or Liliana Edict, Grist minus next turn. Sure. Graveyard gets smaller. Might end up in a slightly awkward spot this turn where I end up Ghost Quartering the Dryad Arbor in a way that I don't like. Kind of see what happens. Ooh. Sure. Protection from black. Yep, this is one of those situations where I have to Wasteland this. So Grist is getting attacked by both. So I will now Ghost Quarter Dryad Arbor to keep Grist alive. And then I'm okay with Grist taking the 3, I think. We just don't want Grist to take 4. All right. Grist plus make land drop, play Lily. I think I just do the Edict here. I'm going to go ahead and fetch a land out of my deck to save myself time later. No attacks, just need to protect the Planeswalkers. And then we'll just F6 my opponent's turns. Urza Saga is great. All plus. Grist plus. Attack with 1 token. I want to leave an extra blocker back in case my opponent has a flash creature. Sure. End of turn. Okay, my opponent is done with me. Yeah, we very much have control over that game, and we get the Pox trophy. That is, we finished positively. This was a really good showing for the deck list. There are definitely strategies that we're going to struggle against. The initiative in particular is something where you can't just answer the body. There's a lingering threat. So those things like initiative and monarch are just going to absolutely give us a headache. But we put on a good show with the deck today. The deck list felt good. I'm very happy with my decision to add Mindbreak traps given what we ran into here. And the in-out numbers for my sideboard felt okay. I almost brought in Surgical Extraction a handful of times, but we would have been really happy to have that if we played against some other different dedicated combo decks, or if we played against things like Reanimator. I like what's here. Jonas, I think you put together a pretty good deck list, and I hope it is continuing to give you success. Folks, I hope you enjoyed this Pox action, and remember, if you need paper Magic cards, check out Cool Stuff Inc. Use promo code ThrabenU to save 5% on your order, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. See ya!